Well, hello. I won't say good morning because it's not particularly a good morning. And you're getting my just woke up, and oh my God, I can't believe I'm having to read this on my feed. But you knew I was going to come here and rant about this for a minute, didn't you? So, a rape academy, an actual real live website where men posted 20,000 videos of them raping their wives who they had drugged or their girlfriends. 62 million visits in 1 month. And y'all accuse us of misandry. I am not shocked after this Epstein thing, how it's been completely mishandled and covered up to protect the perpetrators of these horrific crimes. They actually literally were eating children, okay, in addition to raping little girls and little boys. And it's still being covered up because we don't want to ruin their lives now, do we? This here, there was some low-hanging fruit on this, which is all the guys who come in and say, not all men, could have come up and said, oh my God, this is horrible, and they could have denounced it. Instead, what they're doing right now is they're going for semantics. Well, it could have been one guy 100 times. And on and on and on and on and on. Oh, well, this one guy, holy crap. Well, it's only 1.2% of the population, so the bulk of men are... What in the hell did you just say? One man sharing one video of his drugged wife is one man too many. But these guys don't get that. These guys still claim, well, we're your protectors. You need a man to protect you. From whom? It's funny, as a sideline, there was, I've been told, I have not seen it myself, but I've been told there was a TED Talk that was given. That was a guy who rolled out a big old whiteboard, drew a line down the middle. One side, he put down men. One side, he put down women. And he says, men, what do you do every day on the daily to not get raped? And there was a long silence, apparently. And one guy yells out, not go to prison. And so the guy writes it down on his TED Talk, on the board and on the stage, okay? And then he turns around, okay, what else? And nothing. So he says, okay, we'll come back to you. Women, what do you do on a daily basis to not get raped? And he filled up 2 rows, apparently, and like was writing up the side of all the things that women have to do every single day. Putting your keys between your fingers, checking the back seat before you get in, not jogging at night, not wearing a ponytail so nobody can grab a hold of your hair. And it goes on and 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 on. And then they went back to the men who are at this point stunned because, of course, it's not their lived experience. And he pointed at this, besides not go to prison. And he said something, and again, I haven't seen the video, but supposedly what he said was something to the effect of, and even when you're in prison, who is the perpetrator of this? And suddenly, apparently, the penny dropped. That men are, in fact, the problem. In this particular instance, yes, 62 million men, possibly not individuals, but again, semantics, why are we splitting hairs at this point? Not one of them, supposedly, that to my knowledge right now, this moment, to my knowledge, not one of them reported this to the police. To my knowledge, the host enjoys the protection of the law, which states that basically, well, I didn't know this is happening on my website, and I'm not responsible for things that people post, so they're going to get off scot-free. But the thing that is the most disheartening is the internalized misogyny, not of the men. That's not even internalized. That's just flat out. That's out there for everyone to see. No, it's the internalized misogyny of the women who are also splitting hairs about this. And I feel angry at them, but I also feel angry at the system that created a patriarchy that is so steeped in our Western culture, other cultures too, but the United States is what I'm specifically talking about, that women are saying, well, it's not a rape club, it's, whatever. And they keep on doing semantics. One lady that I saw that was commenting, well, I ran this through ChatGPT. Oh, so what you did was you didn't think for yourself? You ran it through AI? And that's your excuse for men doing this? It's appalling. Ladies, these men were husbands who look them in the face all day long and say all sorts of lovely, wonderful things, probably. I'm sure there are a few of them that are assholes all the time. But they look into your eyes and they tell you they love you and they love your children who are in the house you got assaulted in. Women, this is you. This could be you and you don't know it. If you're feeling foggy the next morning, you can't put your thoughts together, maybe you're sore and aching and you don't know why, you need to find out and you need to do something about this. Because not one man that was on that site reported it. And if he did, guess who's also responsible? Oh, what a surprise. The police who ignored it. Which is exactly what happened with the FBI over the Epstein files. Can we see a pattern here yet? Can we see the pattern? Can we just do that? And for anybody who might want to comment, lady, calm down. No, I'm not going to fucking calm down. This has to end. Why is it that you want to defend an entire society built on pedophiles and rapists being in power? Everybody effing knew about Eric Swalwell and nobody said a word to the police. Nobody turned him in. Nobody. Nobody is helping with the Epstein files. Pam Bondi, a woman, was defending this, was helping to cover the whole thing up. A woman was helping to cover up the rape of little girls. Let that sit for a while and tell me that we don't have internalized misogyny. Tell me that we don't have a patriarchy. Oh, and by the way, just like is always the case with the patriarchy, the women who stand up for it are the first to get kicked in the teeth and discarded. Because patriarchy is inherently a narcissistic group, a narcissistic way of thinking. And one of the things that happens when somebody has narcissistic personality disorder is they use you and use you and use you, and then they discard you. Look it up. Look at like a real psychology website or psychiatry website and look up the definition of narcissistic personality disorder and then look at narcissistic abuse. And I endured the discard myself. I endured the flying monkeys that came after the breakup. I endured the character assassination that was set up before the discard. Well, she's crazy. I'm miserable. She doesn't make me happy. And whatever else was said about me by somebody I trusted and loved before he moved his mistress into my home and proceeded to have an affair with her in my bed. But I was the bad guy. I was misbehaving. It was me. It was my fault. It wasn't her fault. It wasn't his fault. It was my fault that all of that happened. This here with the Epstein files, with this one website, how many other websites are there? We have these two glaring examples of abuse in our system. We've got Epstein's Ranch, in which I just saw a video, which I cannot verify true or not, but it sounds like it could be, where these folks were like, yeah, the cops haven't come out. The cops have not come out to examine it and bag up the bones that are just lying around, clearly not animal bones. And they're literally lying on top. They've dug up some stuff. They've done a half-assed job. And then they've left it alone. All of the children that are buried on that property are not going to see justice. Their families are not going to get closure if they were kidnapped from the parents, if their own parents didn't sell them into this horrific trafficking ring. How sick are we? Men, if you really are a nice guy and you're not just one of those guys that says he's a nice guy until he doesn't get his way, you need to speak out. And you need to turn in your friends who do things like this. You need to stop being quiet, because I guarantee you, you know at least one guy who has gotten somebody drunk and raped them. You know one guy who's roofied somebody, at least one. You know probably one guy that is one of those 62 million. And you need to stop telling women that they're just being crazy and they're overreacting, and not all men. You need to shut that down. And you need to start standing up and being what real men were supposed to be. And that is ethical and moral and decent. And you need to be the guys who are loudest in seeking justice. You need to be calling your local PD. You need to be calling your representatives, your senators, your district's attorney, your mayors. You men need to step up instead of just blowing it off. Well, I don't want to get involved. Stop being lazy and do the work.